I wonder if this will ever stop leaking.
Recently, Bee and Puppycat was taken under the wing of Netflix, which got me into finally watching it. Then going back to watch the other original episodes which were released several years prior by Channel Frederator. And God is it good. It's got magical girl stuff, cute stuff, there's space stuff, authentic and funny voice acting, there's Howl, and there's also spoilers ahead, so don't watch this if you haven't seen the show yet. But besides all these adorably unique features of the show, what really surprised me was the serious undertones lying just beneath the magical space adventure exterior, with one message that resonates with everyone constantly reoccurring. Belonging to an identity of oneself through how others perceive you or your work, your passion, or through a business, or maybe through just being able to afford to belong in your home. And with all of these cases, belonging is something we struggle to find, and often either find hard to maintain without losing it entirely, or hard to know if this really is where we belong at all. The human struggle of craving to have an identity and belong to something or be a part of something will forever be a philosophical human predicament. This condition of needing to belong to something is ongoing through our lives and takes multiple forms. If we go through each character, we can see the struggle of finding comfort in belonging somewhere or to something. When it comes to feeling belonging through the comfort of knowing who oneself is, Puppycat stands out as an interesting case. Puppycat is a space outlaw who finds identity through being this tough guy on the run. However, once turned into this weird little puppycat thing, he loses this and is unable to truly feel like himself, losing his sense of belonging and through this his lack of identity. But he seems to find a certain level of comfort and belonging when he's with Bee. Speaking of Bee, she is also a pretty interesting case. Her belonging doesn't come from an identity of oneself like Puppycat, but instead comes from her relationship with the people around her, who, ironically, are often reminding her that she doesn't belong at all, since she's a magical robot with mysterious relations to space and stuff. As the series progresses, though, we see her become more welcomed and, to some extent, accepted by people from both her local island and space. We also see that because of her inevitable lack of belonging and her knowledge of that as a robot, she has to create her own sense of belonging by bringing people into it. It's also what makes her so likable. Bee is honest about herself and her lack of belonging, and through this she finds a connection with people. One thing I surprisingly really liked more in the Netflix series than the original is that, in my opinion, a lot of the side characters are explored more, and kind of given their own struggle to find belonging. Deckard, for example, is constantly searching for his belonging in the story, and he tries to stay on the island to be with the people he knows, but ends up going to baking school instead as he wants to find belonging in his passion. Which is a very classic adult problem, trying to find the thing that you love and the thing that you're gonna have to stick with for the rest of your life. A career that just completely defines you. This only infuriates him more as he feels he doesn't belong in pursuing a culinary career, so he returns back to the island. Multiple of Deckard's siblings also lack and seek out belonging. Howl, who is my personal favorite character, opens a cat cafe and is unhappy with it. He even outright says that he did this to try and achieve some level of attention, and it never brought him belonging and happiness. Wesley escaped his job to fish. Crispin finds belonging in clowns, I guess. And it's even stated in the story that he ran away as a kid to live with clowns, apparently belonging in this until he had to return to normal adult life. There's a lack of fulfillment many of these characters suffer from, which is assisted with by either their community or by a passion. Despite this being mostly related to adult life and how adults often experience being torn from what they feel they belong to, I actually think one of the clearest examples of this in the show comes from the 7-year-old Cardamon. Cardamon obviously belongs in the life of a 7-year-old, yet he has to work as a landlord and separates himself from what he really is, causing a sort of illusion of himself. It's quite a simple example, but it works very effectively.
Oh, what should we do? Why are you asking me? I don't know anything! Okay, it's okay. Come with us, Cardamon. Let's go to the arcade.
Back to Bee, we can see why she stands out in comparison to the rest of the characters in how she treats belonging. She knows who she is and where she belongs. In fact, she even dresses how she wants, eats and lives how she wants, all regardless of how others judge said things. All these aspects of the series leave us, the audience, with a single question. A question that people have pondered over for so long, and even adults today struggle with it. Do we know what makes us, an individual, feel belonging? And is what makes us feel belonging held back by something? If you have any ideas for future videos, please let me know. And you can support me by subscribing, visiting my Instagram page to see my other content, or my Twitter for video updates. Thank you for watching.